Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the recent trial update and the trials of the pieces of shit that murdered young Rowan Sweeney back in 2020. For those who don't know the story of Rowan Sweeney, basically, you had a woman who was Ronan's mother named Alexis, who was dating basically this black dude in, I believe it was the Youngstown area, I want to say. I could be wrong about that exact area, but I think that's where it was at. And essentially what happened was you had multiple gangbanger pieces of shit find out this dude and I guess a few other people had COVID check money is what it was there. And I think more or less it was the boyfriend that was basically doing, the fucking like, oh yeah, look at all this cash I got, like fucking flaunting all over social media and stuff like that. And then, yeah, these three pieces of shit were like, hey, let's go rob these motherfuckers or whatever, because they're all going to be in this house, like, hanging out or whatever. And so they went to the place and, put, guns in people's heads and stuff like that. That's what it was. And specifically, this Brandon Crump piece of shit walked up to Ronan's mother, who was holding Ronan in her arms at the time. Mind you, this is a 4-year-old little boy, and fucking bangs him right in the fucking head, dude, twice. And yet, 4 years later in the state of Ohio, this fucking cunt is not dead yet. That's what I don't understand, man. Like, how the fuck are you going to have a murder trial? Number one, not start 4 years in the state of Ohio. When this fucking guy murders a fucking child under the age of 5, dude. Number two, why the fuck do we have firing squads in the state of Ohio as part of our state death penalty, dude? Seriously. Republican Party out here. You guys have the power to add shit, dude. Add the motherfucking shit like I've been talking to you for the last 4.5 years now at this point. I told you the first time, 2019, we need to have firing squads on our state death penalty. Told you in 2020, the majority of the fucking year for that, especially after Ronan's execution in this fucking state. You need to add that shit. I told you after Ace Lucas's murder, you need to add that shit. Told you after Nala Latimer's murder, you need to add that shit for these fucking kid killers. But yet you're not going to do that is what it is. Because you're a bunch of fucking coward-ass pussies is what it is, dude. Seriously. I fucking had it, dude, with the Republican Party in the state of Ohio, honestly, dude. Because, again, it's a bunch of career-ass fucking crony sacks of shit that keep defying, and I'm not saying just them, it's also Democrats, too, here do this all the fucking time. Every election cycle, these fuckers are out of office, basically, after being termed out is what it is on one side of the General Assembly or the other. Which, by the way, was a thing done by our literal... it was a law that was passed by the people here. We actually voted for this back, and I think it was like it was either 2011 or 2015, someplace in there, to basically stop having career politicians, what it was. So you have every year you're supposed to be kicked out of the General Assembly, whatever side you're in is what it is there, like permanently, for just being termed out. But yet what they do is, both Democrats and Republicans, both at this point, they will simply go, 6, 8, someplace in there is what it is, years and stuff in. And then they'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to be termed out next election cycle if I, continue staying here for another 2 years, whatever it is there, if they're in the state house or whatever there. So they'll just flip-flop in that election cycle to the other side of General Assembly, to the state Senate then. Or if they're in the state Senate or whatever the case be, and they're termed out after 8 years or whatever. Just like Matt Hoffman's doing this election cycle, actually. Just like Shane Wilkin did the last election cycle, for that matter. Just like Pamela Hicks-Hudson and a bunch of other Democrats did the last election cycle. They're just like, oh, let's flip to their side now is what it is. So... it fucking pisses me off, dude. Because, again, it's like, no, you've had 8 years to do whatever here, dude. You clearly haven't done jack shit for this fucking state. You clearly haven't added stuff to the fucking state death penalty that we needed to have added years, not decades ago is what it is. So get the fuck out and let somebody like myself come in there, and we will introduce legislation. We will fucking hammer that shit down and get it fucking passed and make sure to actually have this shit in our fucking state, part of our state constitution then for executions in this fucking state is what it is then, dude. You shouldn't have people sitting on death row in the state of Ohio for like 30 fucking years now is what it is, dude. Awaiting fucking appeals and all kinds of other bullshit is what it is there. No, you fucking put them to the fucking front of the line and kill their asses and be done with it is what it is. If it can be provably the case that, yes, there's more than enough evidence that they totally murdered some people, dude, fucking put them on the front of the goddamn line is what it is, dude. They get one appeal, and if they lose that appeal, then fuck them. They're gone. And that's what needs to be. And I would say, honestly, with pieces of shit like this motherfucker right here, this Brandon Crump guy, he shouldn't even get an appeal, dude, because him and his fucking buddies specifically went to that house with the intention to rob people using, I'm assuming, stolen firearms at that point. And he literally walks up to this woman who is crying with her crying child in her fucking arms and murders this kid because he's fucking white. How is that not a fucking hate crime, by the way? That's what I understand all of it, dude. Like, you always have these fucking black and white hate crimes all the time is what it is. How the fuck is Ronan's execution by a fucking black male being a young 4-year-old white boy not a fucking hate crime in this state, in this country, dude? It fucking should be. It should be plastered all over the fucking news at this point. Yet, you barely hear peeps here and there about it, dude. Hell, I have to look up the kid's name every time I want to fucking talk about the stories now. And then you get like 1 or 2 stories, like the one we're going to talk about here in a minute is what it is now. Which is from about 2 weeks ago, give or take. Almost 3 weeks ago now is what it is. Which was a mother of 4-year-old Rowan Sweeney testifies during trial. Or sorry, mother of murdered 4-year-old Rowan Sweeney testifies during trial. Which is the trial of this piece of shit who actually murdered her kid is what it is here. So, and mind you, what's even sadder is, and I know there was an update to this before, I'm not sure how this whole thing went or not, because I haven't heard anything about her side of it is what it is there. But yeah, it was like a couple years ago. Her and the boyfriend guy, who was the one flaunting the cash on the internet and stuff like that, ended up getting busted with it was right before he had constitutional carry in the state, by the way. So it was like early to mid 2022, I think is what it was. Like April, May, someplace in there is what it was right before constitutional carry became a thing. Here's what it was in June of 2022. And yeah, they got busted for mishandling firearms in a motor vehicle because he apparently had been given a gun by his one cousin for protection for their lives because they were afraid they were going to get killed too at some point, which makes sense. You know, you want to retaliate against people so they can't testify against you, obviously. Or maybe not them specifically because obviously the people that did this are sitting in, you know, Ohio prison system is what it is right now. But like, yeah, it would be their gangbanger buddies that are still outside is what it is then. It's like the same exact thing with the murder of Ace Lucas in the state too, for that matter, which is one that happened about probably 20 minutes from me right now is what it is, if not less than that even. It was over in the city of Canton there back in 2020. It was about a month or so before Ronan's execution, actually, because Ronan was killed, I believe it was August of 2020, and Ace was murked out in fucking July of 2020, I believe is what it is, or maybe June of 2020, someplace in there, like June, July 2020. And yeah, what happened in that case with Ace Lucas is what it was. You had this little black toddler and his brother, who were both like they were twins at the time. Obviously, it was Ace and Arcel, I think is what the kids' other name was. I want to say I could be wrong about that one. I know it was both A names though, and his brother's name was really weird though. But anyway, yeah, they were at their dad's place because the dad had like joint custody or whatever it was. And he had laid them on, I believe it was some kind of couch or something to sleep for the night, which is kind of silly to lay babies like that, honestly. But I guess they didn't have any other place for them to sleep what it was then because they had all the other kids in the house too, for that matter. And these 3 fucking gangbanger pieces of shit literally are, there's video evidence of this, by the way. You can go out and look for it yourself. So I'm not going to put it up here right now is what it is. But yeah, they were literally fucking trouncing through the backyard, falling over kids' toys, going up to the back porch even, still falling over more kids' toys, and then just fucking bang, 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 fucking unload on the house is what it is, dude. Bullet goes flying through the fucking walls, smacks Ace right in the fucking spinal cord, kills him instantly. They caught one of these motherfuckers, not the other 2, by the way, so it wasn't all 3, it was only 1 as far as I'm aware to this day, honestly, 4 years later with Ace's murder and stuff. And that fucking asshole was using, shocker, a stolen firearm that already had another body on it. So he actually got tried with 2 murders, not just Ace's murder in that one. And then you had, months later, I think it was actually like, it was either 2022 or something like that, or maybe 2023, someplace in there. Again, it took a long time to get Ace's, the trial for Ace's murder was on there, is what it was. And his father, Aaron, was supposed to testify. Dude's walking down the street and fucking somebody does a drive-by on his ass and kills him too. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, what the fuck? And as far as I'm aware, it's probably the guys that got away is what it was. They haven't caught yet because there was talk of those 2 other dudes being from Chicago and stuff coming down to Ohio to kill this dude. And why were they trying to kill Aaron Lucas? They were trying to kill him because apparently he had stolen a bunch of fucking drugs and money from some fucking local gang is what it was then. But instead, they murdered his fucking son first. who wasn't even 2 years old at the time. And this is what I'm saying, dude. Like, I don't care if it's Rowan Sweeney or Ace Lucas or Nyla Lattimore, who was another one of these toddlers, who's piece of shit, boyfriend of his mother, fucking tossed this kid off a bridge, for God's sakes, in the state of Ohio. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what is wrong with these fucking guys, dude? It blows my mind sometimes. Like, what the hell kind of fucked up mentality do you have to have as an early 20s black male in the state of Ohio to where you're just gonna kill a fucking kid, dude? And not even like we're talking about like single-digit age children, not even 5 or 6 years old at the time. I think Nyla was like 3 or 4, just like Rowan was. Like I said, Ace, 1.5 years old, dude. And the thing is, I'm sure they didn't mean to kill Ace in that situation, but yeah, like you're obviously trying to kill somebody because you're fucking mag dumping into a fucking house, for God's sake. You know damn well it's occupied by kids, man. So what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, honestly, it just, oh my God, dude. It sort of makes you want to go Jonathan Watson on these fucking people sometimes, honestly, dude. I'm not going to go into the details of Jonathan Watson, but you guys know who I'm talking about. It's the dude from California that marked out 2 pedophiles in state prison is what was there. I'm going to leave it at that, basically. So, but yeah, this is what people need to do. They just need to fucking, like, just, oh my God, bro. Like, don't even let these fuckers go into, like, actually, there's a great series out there. I'm trying to think what it's called now offhand. It stars that Jeremy Renner guy. It was done by that Tyler Sheridan guy from the Yellowstone and stuff. Mayor of Kingstown, that's what it was. Yeah, there's a great episode of that, actually, or a couple episodes of that show, actually, where it's basically, I think it's like it was the latest season, so I don't know if that was like season 2 or 3 or what it was there, but basically the end of it was you had these dudes trying to get like retaliation against like other gangbangers and stuff inside is what it was there in the prison system. And yeah, they would just have the guard pop the fucking door, run in there with it was like a book of matches and a fucking like little Dixie cup full of gas basically, and just be like, and it was just, and that's honestly what should happen to some of these people, honestly, dude, for real. And then of course you just, run back out and then fucking shut the cell door again, is what it is, and just watch them fucking cook is basically what it is there. So all I'm saying is these fuckers need to feel immense pain, dude. And it would be one thing too if we actually had like a legit death penalty in this state where you could like firing squad these fuckers like they should be firing squatted for killing this kid that way, or any of these kids that way. So anyway, but yeah, this is Ronan's mom right here, or it was Ronan's mother before he was murdered, obviously. And this is her a couple weeks ago talking at the trial for this piece of shit Brandon Crump.
The shooter walks in the house and he says, "Give it up." But before anybody could do anything, he just started shooting.
A first-hand account from the murder trial of Brandon Crump.
The victim's mother talks about the final moments she had with her son, Rowan Sweeney. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Watson.
And I'm Dave Sess. Brandon Crump is the last of 3 defendants charged in the shooting death of Rowan Sweeney.
First News was in the courtroom this morning as his trial started. Here's First News reporter John Rutter.
I'm just going to point out this is all fair use. Don't even try to strike me, YouTube.
Nearly 4 years after the shooting death of 4-year-old Rowan Sweeney, the trial underway for the last of 3 men charged in his death.
He was brutally and mercilessly executed.
Yes, he was.
Shot in the head 2 times at point blank range.
Disgusting.
He was 2 weeks shy of his 5th birthday.
21-year-old Brandon Crump stands charged with a list of crimes, including aggravated murder, plus 4 counts of attempted aggravated murder.
I want to point something out, too, by the way. That means that this fucking piece of shit was 17 when he murdered this kid. So at 17, you think it's okay to kill a fucking 4-year-old? Fuck you, Brandon Crump, you piece of shit.
4 counts of felonious assault, aggravated robbery, and aggravated burglary.
She begs him, please don't shoot my kid. And he puts 2 in his head.
Rowan's mother, Alexis Schneider, taking the stand Thursday as jurors began hearing the first testimony of the trial. Schneider saying she tried to shield her son from the gunman that prosecutors say was Crump.
I was begging him not to kill my baby, not to take his life. He was sleeping. Don't hurt him.
Prosecutors allege back in the early hours.
By the way, you know how she could have actually solved that situation? She could have pulled her own gun and blown Brandon Crump's fucking brains out right then and there is what it is, dude. But of course, she wasn't armed that night.
Of September 21st, 2020, Crump burst into the house on Perry Street in Struthers and started shooting. During opening statements, prosecutors say Schneider's boyfriend, Yarnell Green, had been flaunting a large amount of cash that night, enough to entice Andre McCoy, who was also in the home that night, to text Kamani Bryant, devising a plan to rob Green.
The shooter walks in the house, and he says, "Give it up."
Okay, I guess I didn't realize that part of it. So it was one of the other guys that was in the house. Basically, was like, "Oh yeah, this dude's got a bunch of cash. Let's rob his ass." And yeah, they fucking devised the plan to rob the place. Well, that's the thing, right? Okay, it's one thing if you're gonna rob the place, dude. But why the fuck would you burst in shooting? Like, if your entire plan is to rob these people, then just fucking rob them, dude. You don't gotta fucking shots fired. You don't gotta fucking blow some kid's brains out. You know? Or you know what you could do, actually? You could take your lazy fucking asses and go get a goddamn real job and make your own fucking money, you fucking pricks. But of course you don't want to do that because you just want to steal other people's shit is what it is. And then kill fucking kids. Because you're fucking scumbag sexist shit.
But before anybody could do anything, he just started shooting.
Prosecutors said Crump shot McCoy twice in the head before turning on everyone else. His defense contending that Schneider initially identified Bryant as the shooter in the immediate aftermath, only to identify Crump weeks later after she was shown a photograph.
It will fail to convince you by proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Brandon Crump committed any of these crimes.
By the way, that was a douchebag fucking defense attorney for this piece of shit. That guy needs to be disbarred on the fucking spot, by the way, just for that statement alone is what it is.
Bryant and McCoy, who survived the shooting, were also charged with Rowan's death and have already pled guilty. They're expected to testify for prosecutors during the trial. Reporting in Mahoning County, John Rutter, WKBN 27 First News.
Yeah, and how much do you want to bet that those other 2 pieces of shit got a fucking plea deal to testify against this asshole? I would not be surprised in the least by it, actually. Would not be surprised in the least by it, actually, dude. So, yeah, just fucking absolutely disgusting, dude. Oh, yeah, right there. Yep. Bryant and McCoy have already accepted plea bargains and are expected to testify against Crump. So it says here in the thing. Yeah, as the Paris said, investigators found 45 caliber shell casings at the scene. Test found Crump's DNA on the casings. Fibero said that no testing can tell someone when Crump put his DNA on the casings or how he did that. Well, he obviously did it by loading them in the fucking gun, you moron. Like, seriously, all you gotta do is fucking put your fucking DNA on a casing by loading into a fucking magazine, you idiot. You dumbass fucking defense attorney. I've really had it with these fucking people, dude. I really have, honestly. Man, this is a long-ass story. I was gonna read some of it, but then it's like super long here. I don't think I have enough left in my system right now to do so, is what it is. Because it's basically just them going back and forth on the trials, what it is there, so. Yeah, just absolutely fucking sickening, dude. So yeah, this piece of shit shot. What's ironic to me is that he shot the one guy who was actually the guy who like basically was like, "Oh yeah, let's rob this dude." So he shoots him in the head twice because he didn't want to split the money. I guess I don't know, but obviously that guy survived somehow, which is fucking nuts to be fucking too. You know, I'm assuming it was a 1911 maybe he was using, but then again, it could have been like some kind of Glock and like 45 or something like that then. But yeah, the fact that that dude took like 2 fucking rounds of the head and is still here is like shocking, honestly. Maybe it's because he's an adult male with a thicker skull is what it is then. Versus Ronan, who had a little kid's skull, obviously. And, you know, legitimately bang, bang right in the fucking brain is what it is then. So, either way, it's just disgusting entirely, dude. It's like the most worthless kind of senseless violence, and it's also just like I said, the fact that they are charging this dude with so many fucking felonies, but they're not charging him with a hate crime is absolutely bullshit entirely, dude. Because this obviously was. Like, you don't specifically walk up to like the one fucking white person that's there that night, and then be like, "Oh, fuck you, bitch," and then ding ding her fucking son in the head twice, unless you clearly hate white people is what it is. So. Yeah, so 16 counts that this Trump guy faces. Let's see here. This is opening statement here. It said, let's see. Okay, they talked about the guy flashing money at about 2 a.m. was when they burst in there. Let's see. Yeah, so his gallery was about half full. Ronan's dad, who has been a regular at just about every court hearing in this process, was in the hallway in a suit. Odds are he will be testifying as well. Odds are he will be a witness and be allowed to testify as well. So lawyers are doing like procedural matters and stuff like that. So the opening statements begin. So Mahoney County Courthouse. Let's see, jury instructions were completed. Jury instructions said bailiff is now bringing in the jury. This is all from the trial. Here's what it is. And then it was talking about the judge basically doing the shit. There's what it is. And yeah, like I said, it's fucking. Oh my God, dude. So that was on the 8th. And then we got the 9th, which is the next day here. Another story. So this is when was this now? This is about 17 days ago, which is almost 18 days ago. This is 17 days ago. We have testimony continues Friday in trial of final suspect in Rowan Sweeney murder. Said testimony will continue Friday in the trial for the third and final suspect in the murder of Struthers boy. That's the thing I love about the fucking mainstream media, by the way. And when I mean love, I mean I fucking hate these people so much. It is what it is. So they'll sit there and say murder of Struthers boy instead of saying murder of Struthers boy by black male. Because you know damn well if this is reverse races and this is a white guy that killed some black kid, it would be murder of black Struthers boy by white man. Anyway, it's a testimony to Friday, third trial. Opening statements were heard Thursday. The trial of 21-year-old Brandon Crump, who was accused of being the trigger man in the deadly home invasion that claimed the life of 4-year-old Rowan Sweeney. So during opening statements, prosecution described the night of the crime, said 4-year-old Rowan Sweeney is asleep on the couch at his mother's house. Huh, interesting. I thought it was supposed to be, or what? I could swear it was supposed to be the house that the mom and the boyfriend shared, maybe. Who knows? Anyway. Said he was then brutally and mercilessly executed. He was 2 weeks shy of 5th birthday, as prosecution said prosecution went on to describe the events leading up to the crime, speaking about how hours prior, Yarnell Green Jr. was bragging about pandemic relief money that he had received, and obviously flashing the cash what it was. Prosecutors say that this led to a text chain amongst 2 suspects, Kamani Bryant and Andre McCoy, planning a robbery, which led to Bryant getting Crump involved. So, ironically enough, had dumbass fucking Kamani Bryant not got dipshit fucking Brandon Crump involved, Ronan would probably still be alive tonight, honestly, dude. He'd be an 8-year-old boy at this point, going on 9 years old right now. So, but yeah, instead, this fucking ass clown right here, this fucking piece of shit, fucking 1,000-yard stare murderer eyes, helped kill this little white boy. Here's what it was, dude. I seriously want everything bad to happen to all 3 of these fucking guys, man. And I mean that so much. Anyway, so about 2 a.m., Crump burst through the door and shot McCoy and everybody else in the home, including Sweeney. Well, I should say wounded everybody else, and then obviously popped that McCoy guy in the head a couple times that He survived that shockingly. As the prosecution wanted to say, victim was described as a black male in a red jacket, and that cell phone records from Crump reveal a video of a hand and arm of a black male in a red jacket spreading out cash. So prosecutors say another video shows Crump holding a .45 caliber handgun, the same weapon used in the murder, and that shell casings on the scene had Crump's DNA on them. So defense's opening statement alleged the DNA on the shell casings and the video of Crump's phone. Okay, they acknowledged it, but asked the questions on how and when DNA got there, stating that, quote, no expert in the world can tell you that. Again, you dumb fucking defense attorneys. It's called you load a magazine with a bare fucking hand and you get fucking DNA on the shell casings, you jackass. So obviously he was the one loading the fucking magazine is what it was, you idiot. And if it was the same exact gun that he was flashing around, it was most likely him pulling the fucking trigger then too, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. I swear to God, dude, I seriously hate the people that fucking defend these pieces of shit in general, dude. Like, anybody that can seriously sit there with a straight face and defend this fucking piece of garbage right here and his fucking ass clown buddies, dude, needs to be fucking charged an accessory after the fact is what it is then with these fucking scumbags. Anyway, the defense also stated there was evidence of communication between McCoy and Bryant, but none of Crump and McCoy or Bryant. That doesn't mean anything, dude. You literally have the other dude being like, nah, man, like, I need a third guy here. I brought this fucking jackass with me. Like, how hard is that, bro? Yeah, as the first witness, yeah, God, fucking eye is killing me right now for some reason. I need to put like a wash, fucking cold washcloth on it or something. I think my vision is going again. I need to get my glasses changed or something now. Anyway, so first witness called to stand was Ronan's father, David Sweeney. Sweeney testified that he did share custody with Ronan at the time, with him being in the mother's custody that weekend. That's the ironic thing too, by the way. If Ronan Sweeney's father, David, had actually had full custody of his son, he would have never been there to be killed that night. And again, this is why I will fight for father's rights all the time, is what it is, dude. Just because of shit like this, honestly. So David testified on the morning of the murder, he woke up to a knock on the door from his mother, around 3 a.m. to tell him Ronan had been killed. He says he immediately broke down. So that changed me completely. It just really hurt me. And as every father, you want every chance to teach your kids something in life. I no longer have that chance, David said. So next up was Ronan's mother, Alexis Schrader, who was with him the morning of the crime. She testified that Ronan spent the majority of the weekend with his grandmother. So around midnight, Schrader testified that she and Green picked up Ronan and went back to the home. He then went to sleep on the couch because he would usually come downstairs to sleep with Schroeder on the couch. Said Schroeder testified that McCoy and Cassandra Messacola were going to come over to smoke weed with her and Green. Schrader testified that McCoy and the other chick were dating. Said Schrader testified that Green laid the pandemic unemployment funds of about $4,000 to $5,000 on the table. Why the fuck would you flash cash like that, dude? Oh, yeah, that's right, because you're a fucking retard is what it is, dude. And you want to fucking have somebody rob your ass is what it is there. Be like, hey, man, check it out. I got all this pandemic money. Check out this $5,000 I got here. Fucking stupid, dude. So she stated the chick was acting strangely at the time, opting not to sit next to her and Ronan, and that this other woman and McCoy were on their phones the whole time. Again, why the fuck would you show them the money, you idiot? Of course, they're on their phones. They're texting their buddies like, come rob these motherfuckers now. So she then described the events of the murder, stating that Andre was shot first, followed by Schrader immediately covering up Ronan with her body. And that was when the thing was talking about her begging for the kid's life and stuff like that. And this piece of shit, Crump right here, walked up and just blew his fucking brains out. That's what it was. Yeah, saying, quote, shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. And then shot Ronan in the head twice. Disgusting. So Schrader testified that she did not know how many shots were fired and that but that she heard a couple of clicks after the shot stopped, indicating that there was no ammo left in the gun. Jesus. Schrader then said the robbers took the money and ran. Of course they did. She then went on to testify that she had been transported to the hospital and photos were shown in the courtroom of her in the hospital. Said she testified that she knew that Crump was the killer because she was shown a photo of him at Ronan's birthday party on October 4th. Instantly recognized him. She then says she had never known of or met this piece of shit prior to the murder. So during cross-examination from the defense, Schrader testified that Morsecola and McCoy came to her house Saturday, September 19th. Okay, so I was wrong. It was a couple months after Ace's murder then. Schrader says Green never showed off his unemployment money during that... Wait. Green never showed off his unemployment money during that time. Well, that doesn't even make any sense, because didn't it say up... What the fuck, dude? I swear to God, it said up here that it was... What are we at, dude? Okay, yeah, during testimony, it says she testified that Green laid out the pandemic unemployment funds of about $4 to $5 grand on the table that day. Or was this a previous... I'm trying to figure that out now, because it was the 19th the day that Ronan was killed or not? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Because it's almost like she's contradicting herself on that one, because she said clearly, like, during the original defense by, the DA is what it is there, that this dude did show off the $4 to $5 grand he had, and then she's saying he didn't, obviously, later on when she's being cross-examined. That's just odd, dude. Huh. Okay, and then it continues to say, it says, as the cross-examination continued, Schrader testified that when Green laid the money out on the table, she considered that kind of weird to put it in front of other people. Okay, so either they wrote this wrong, which could be the case, honestly, or it was just misinterpreted wrong. I don't know, because obviously she is going with her original statement that yes, he did lay the money out, is what it was. And yeah, and what's funny to me is, okay, obviously this girl doesn't understand that about, and this is one thing I have learned from AK Nation News about, like, the whole, like, black culture thing, dude, is you will have these fucking morons in these communities like that basically just try to act like they're all rich and shit and be like, oh yeah, check it out, bro, and just, like, flaunt a bunch of cash around and then wonder why they get fucking, killed for it, or why they have somebody come and rob them at gunpoint and then kill a bunch of other people for it, is what it is then. And that's the problem, dude. It's never the people, by the way, that do the stupid shit that get got. It's the people that are the innocents, the people like the Rowan Sweeneys of the world, the people like the Ace Lucases of the world, etc. there, dude. People like the Nyla Latimars of the world. So, etc., etc. Anyway, people like the Casey Goodson Jr.'s of the world, for that matter, even, because I'll even throw Casey's name in there, which he wasn't obviously a kid, but he was, a guy who got killed by the fucking cops unjustly is what it was. And pretty much one of the only times in Ohio that the cops killed somebody unjustly, it seems like, anymore. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm pretty sure Jason Mead's trial is finally going to be set pretty soon here, if it's not going on right now down in Columbus, and I'm going to go ahead and cover that here in the next couple of days. It'll be for most likely Buckshot Thursday, this coming Thursday then. So, because for those who don't know, Jason Mead was a raging racist piece of shit cop for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, and definitely has been given the death penalty in the state of Ohio as an ex-sheriff's deputy for murdering Casey Goodson Jr. back in 2020 as well. So, anyway, let's see where we're at now. Yeah, it said that she testified that the guy laying the money out was kind of weird in front of other people. She then said, barrel of the gun used in the murder had a light on it. So what she really means is the frame had a light on it. Testified that once shots were fired, she immediately stopped looking at the gun and focused on protecting her son, Ronan. So she testified that she only looked up when Green told her to run and that the shooter was approaching her. So during cross-examination, she was questioned. Schrader was questioned on an interview she had with the police where she was shown an image of Bryant and recognized him and got emotional. Again, it could be, too, that she saw that dude as well, that Konami Bryant guy. But that doesn't mean that Crump wasn't the fucking trigger man that night, for that matter, Hell, they could have both been the trigger man for all the fuck we know is what it is, dude. She was chaotic as fuck back then. Anyway, so Schrader testified that he looked familiar and that he followed her on social media sites. Jesus Christ, dude. So his defense also mentioned parts of interviews with detectives where Schrader Officers identified Bryant in a lineup of potential suspects. When the prosecution asked about this, she testified that this was before she had seen the previously mentioned photo of Crump at Ronan's birthday party that year, when he turned 5 is what it was, which I'm guessing was more of a memorial party for him is what it was there, since he was obviously not alive to be there himself. So when pressed by the defense, Schrader testified that Green showed her the picture of Crump, but not the police. Okay, that's weird. So she further testified that before seeing the photo of Crump, she saw Bryant's photo all over social media and associated the face with those reports, stating that she believed if someone turned themselves in for a crime, they must have done it. Okay, so that makes sense. So it was basically she was basically the other piece of shit next to her son there. In that photo that she was like, oh yeah, it's this guy that killed my kid or whatever the case be, not realizing no, it was this fucking 17-year-old little piece of shit that's now 21 is what it is here. So anyways, after a break that lasted a little over an hour, testimony resumed, and one of the police officers who had responded to the scene of the crime was called the stand. The officer testified being alerted to the shooting around 1:52 a.m. and arrived about 3 minutes later. So the officer said that the first thing he saw on the scene was 4 adults in the living room area, including Mersicola, McCoy, Schrader, and Green. So the officer said all four of these people were shot, and Ronan was no longer breathing. So the officer testified. I gotta tell you, man. Oh my god, bro. This is why I couldn't be a cop, man, in this country, because I would. Oh my god, bro. I would go full fucking Dexter on these killers, honestly, man. Like I would personally hunt those motherfuckers down and mag dump myself at that point. Then, and yeah, everything else for that matter too. Like I could not imagine walking into a scene like that where you walk into the fucking walk into the house, the apartment, whatever it was there, and you just see 4 adults laying on the ground. You know, you got the one dude bleeding out of his head a couple times because he got shot in the head a couple times. Somehow survived that, which is crazy. And then everybody else is wounded in the, arms, legs, torsos, whatever it is there. And then you got this little boy laying on the fucking ground with with bullet holes in his head is what it is then. Like, oh my god, bro. Oh, Jesus. That would give me PTSD alone, I think, honestly, dude. And I would have to leave the force after that kind of thing. So, yeah, so the officer testified that he asked McCoy who had shot him, but the guy was just mumbling. Of course, he was just mumbling, dude. He just got fucking 2 rounds in the head, for God's sakes. Like, I'm shocked, but I can't believe that dude's even alive after that. Like, what's sad is the fucking criminal McCoy must have had a fucking guardian angel guarding his ass, dude, because he probably should have been dead too, honestly. It was during officer's testimony, videos recorded by the police on the cell phone were played for the court. Officer said Struthers police did not have body cameras at the time of the incident. Again, this is exactly why every police department needs to have that stuff now. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Struthers was actually one of the ones that Mike DeWine actually did get police body cams too in the last couple of years now is what it was. So that's good. So after the videos were played, the defense cross-examined the cop. So the officer said that he did not start recording the video until the house was cleared, testifying the reason he started recording was to show what the scene was like before paramedics had arrived. So during cross-examination, the officer echoed earlier testimony that the shooter was described as a tall black male in a red jacket and possible black gloves. The officer testified no specific height was given at the time. So the cop also echoed testimony that the murder weapon had a light on it and further testified that he was on the scene for between 6 to 6.5 hours. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God, man. Again, like, oh, Jesus, dude. Honestly, thinking about that more and more, I don't think I could be a paramedic either for that matter, dude, because again, like, paramedic EMT, like, you get called out to that scene, and it's just like, you're literally transporting a lifeless child and his mother and a bunch of their friends or whoever they can be friends or whatever it was there, and ambulances and stuff. Like, yeah, I couldn't handle that, man. Anyway, this is after a short recess following the officer's testimony. Marshall took the stand and testified during her testimony So she revealed she'd been dating McCoy since 2019 and spending a lot of time with him. So testified that she knew Bryant and McCoy to be McCoy's best friend, or not best friend, sorry, McCoy's friend, and that they would go over to his house sometimes, and that she had given him a ride home in the past. However, she identified or testified that she did not know Crump prior to the shooting that night. Again, most likely it was that Bryant guy's buddy is my guess, honestly, or maybe a younger brother, fucking friend, or something like that. Who the fuck knows, dude? Who knows, man? Anyway, it says she testified that she and McCoy, she and McCoy did see Bryant on the street to pick up drugs earlier before arriving at Schrader's house, but did not hear what the two were talking about. Okay, so here's my question on that one. When she says drugs, does she mean weed? That they're all going to smoke together, or is she talking about, because that's not really drugs, honestly, that's just pot, basically, or does she mean like hardcore narcotics, like heroin or crack or something like that, honestly, dude? Which I assume she's talking about weed, honestly. They're all going to smoke together, what it was then later on. Anyway, it said, Mercola further testified that when they were at Schrader's house, McCoy was texting her on her phone that, quote, he wanted to take Green shit, but then said, never mind. She testified the murder occurred shortly after this exchange. Of course you wanted to take his fucking money, you asshole. Like, that's the whole point, dude. Said that woman also said that when the incident occurred, she was pushed on the ground by one of the suspects, followed by McCoy being shot. When he stood up, said she then echoed earlier testimony that Green was shot. Next, followed by an exchange between Schrader and the gunman. She testified that she was the last shot in her ankle, thigh, and shoulder. Said she also testified that the gunman was a black male who had a red puffer jacket on and was wearing black pants. She also testified that it seemed like he was 8 feet tall. I mean, it makes sense if you're on the ground cowering in fear. You probably think that, honestly. It says during cross-examination, she said, in reality, the gunman was at least 6 feet tall. So during her testimony, she said officers were drilling her when they presented her with a lineup of suspects, consistently asking if she had recognized anyone, and that she felt like it was not an option to not pick someone or say she did not know. So she testified that she picked Bryant out of the 6-person lineup shown. But when asked if she knew who the shooter was today, she said she did not know. She also testified that before picking Bryant, she had picked a different person from the suspect list. So, quote, they made me feel like I was a piece of shit for not knowing who was in the room. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and that's, unfortunately, that's cop behavior in a lot of cases, dude. And, you know, and I've actually had to personally, when I was living in Columbus years ago, when I was robbed, actually, had to do one of those little 6-person lineups and stuff. And I actually was looking at it for a minute or two, and I was like, because that's the thing, like the problem is those lineups are not in color. They're almost all usually in like black and white photos is what it is. And so it takes you a second, like it takes your eyes a minute and your brain a minute to like adjust to that, like, you know, photography, I guess it would be. Because even when I was talking to the detectives down in Columbus about the whole thing, and they're like, "Oh, is it one of these people or whatever the case be?" And I'm like, they don't really seem that much. And they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm just like, and then I'm like looking for a minute or two, and I'm like, "Oh, actually, you know what? This one does actually look familiar to me." And they're like, "Oh yeah, yep, she's a known." They're like, "Yep, she was a known person." There's what it was. So I'm not gonna get into the details of the story I have, but yeah, needless to say, it was a guy and a girl both that were involved in my robbery, is what it was. So, and yeah, it was the chick that was the main thing. There's what it is. So, and I'll leave it at that, basically. Anyway, it says during cross-examination, this woman said that she believed she recognized Bryant's eyes, which is what led her to pick him initially. So during cross-examination, she revealed that she no longer was dating McCoy and hasn't talked to him since the murder. Okay, why would you be dating that guy when he helped murder a fucking kid, basically, dude? I mean, he didn't actually pull the trigger, but I mean, it was because of him that the kid got fucking killed. So it was there, dude. And then, yeah, she testified she blames McCoy for the whole incident, as you should, because the guy literally was fucking what led to it, man. So when asked about text messages exchanged between the two of them, she testified that last message was sent about 1:36 a.m., about 20 minutes before the murder. Said she also admitted to deleting the messages. Okay, so here's my problem with that one. Why was she not actually tried with tampering with evidence then, or accessory after the fact, or whatever the case be on that one, because both of those should have been charges on her ass, honestly, dude, because if you're deleting messages and stuff like that, you're obviously tampering with evidence is what it is there, girl. So anyway, so it's following her testimony and cross-examination, a Struthers police captain who led the response to the scene was called to the stand. During testimony, the captain described the scene as, quote, basically chaos. Unlike previous officer, the captain did not take any cell phone footage. 2 other suspects involved in the crime have already been entered guilty pleas, with Bryant pleading guilty to 1 count of aggravated murder and McCoy pleading guilty to 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Neither has been sentenced at this time. Again, that's the fucking problem with our society right now, dude. All 3 of these guys should be in fucking shallow graves right now in the state of Ohio. They need to be buried under the fucking prison is what it is right there, dude. And it's as simple as that, really. So, yeah, I am so fucking sickened by this entire thing, dude. And it really does choke me up quite a bit, honestly, because Ronan had his whole life ahead of him, dude. He could have gone on to be great. He could have gone on to be a great person in life. And yet, meanwhile, you got these 3 fucking pieces of shit, 20-somethings, in the case of that Crump guy who was like 17 at the time, throwing away their lives for what, $4,000 to $5,000? Seriously? You murder a kid in cold fucking blood because you just want to kill somebody is what it is then? The fuck, man? I'll tell you what, I would not do well in a prison, man, because you're going to put my ass on fucking lockdown 24/7 because I would just start murking people out in the fucking side of the jail, dude, is what it is. Like, I would literally go into a jail, like, specifically going after these kid killers like that, man, and just be like, fucking like 57 times in the neck with a fucking sharp edge of a piece of metal or something like that. That's what it is, a little shiv, shank, whatever you call it there. Or it would be like that one episode of Sons of Anarchy where you got the it was Otto after the one dude's fucked him up, whatever the case be, and you had the other guys like helping him out or whatever, and it was them like just like beating the guy over the head with like a big ass book or something like that to like knock him out cold, and then they just like lead Otto over there and like hand him the fucking shank to kill the guy. He's just like, "This is for Sam Crow. This is for me," and like stabs the guy's fucking eyes out basically, and then like kills his ass. Otherwise, is what it was then with like one of the neck or something. So, but yeah, it's just, yeah, like certain people just need to die is what it is, dude. And the fact that all 3 of these pieces of shit are still alive right now in the state of Ohio is absolutely disgusting. The fact that they're pissing away taxpayer dollars, the fact they're pissing away my taxpayer dollars right now to have to feed these pieces of shit 3 hots in a cot every fucking day of their worthless ass lives is fucking disgusting. We really just need to express death penalties in this country, honestly, dude. Oh, you killed a kid at the age of 10? Sorry, you're gone. No appeals, no fucking jury trials, nothing. Just immediately to the fucking chair, the firing squad, the gas chamber, whatever the fuck it is at that point. Doesn't really matter. The most hardcore, brutal punishment, death penalty you could get, honestly. That's what's given to you for this shit, dude. So, anyway. I don't think there's any more to this one. Let me check, just make sure on that one. Okay, there's just opening statements there for that. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. We do actually have an update to this as well. There's actually already a Facebook page, too, called Justice for Rowan Sweeney. So, hopefully he will get justice here. But, yeah, this was the 16th. So this is just over a week ago now. Which was, let's see if I can pull this up right now. Which was jury returns verdict in case against man accused of killing 4-year-old Struthers boy.
For the last 3.5 years, there have been endless calls of justice for Rowan. The 4-year-old was
Needs to be
shot and
justice for
killed in a
Rowan.
robbery gone wrong the night of
Robbery gone
September
wrong, my
21st,
ass.
2020. And tonight, justice has been achieved.
Maybe.
A jury found defendant Brandon Crump guilty as charged in the little boy's death. Rowan's family now breathing a small sigh of relief after so long.
He took Rowan from us, but he can't take the memories that all of us here have of Rowan and the love
I assume that this is his father, David, by the way.
he gave us.
David Sweeney and his family have been waiting years for those who were responsible for shooting and killing his son to be held accountable. Late this afternoon, a Mahoning County jury found the man who pulled the trigger guilty.
I ultimately hope he spends the rest of his life in prison as he deserves.
We, the jury, find the defendant.
Nah, he needs to have the most hardcore fucking violent death ever, dude.
Guilty of aggravated murder.
After nearly a full day of deliberations, Brandon Crump was convicted of aggravated murder and several other counts in the death of 4-year-old Rowan and the shootings of 4 others. Crump is the 3rd person to be charged in the horrific shooting in September of 2020 that started as a robbery over COVID relief money. For David Sweeney,
dude.
it was like reliving a nightmare listening to the testimony.
Every night I would leave and go home from here and honestly felt like I had just left his funeral again.
Prosecutors say Crump burst into the Struthers home with a gun around 2 a.m. as part of a plan to steal the money from one of the victims. Rowan was asleep on the couch when he was shot and killed.
It was brutal, callous, calculated, and Brandon Crump will pay for his crimes.
Andre McCoy and Kamani Bryant have already pleaded guilty.
Okay, so the idiot here on the left was the moron that was in the house actually calling up this dipshit on the right to be like, man, we should rob this motherfucker Green.
For their part in the crime. Prosecutors say cell phone evidence provided insight into what happened that night. Photos and videos showed Crump flashing a large amount of cash and pulling more out of a backpack.
Well, that's
His
just
DNA
stupid.
was also found on the shell casings collected at the crime scene by police. He'll now spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Well, there's consequences. If you use a handgun or a firearm in Mahoning County to kill someone, we will try you to the fullest extent of the law.
What does it matter if it's a handgun there or not, lady? The fact that they killed a fucking child woman should be your main priority, lady.
We will hold you accountable, and that's what happened in this case today.
You know, Rowan meant a lot to so many people, and it really helps me to know how much he meant to them too, and how important this case was.
The next step in this case will be sentencing for Brandon Crump, Andre McCoy, and Kamani Bryant. That date hasn't been set yet.
All 3 to be given the death penalty in the fucking story. And it's as simple as that, really. I don't care if it's that fucking what do they call that shit? The hypoxia.
Should large-scale solar and wind farms be allowed in?
Sorry, stupid thing came on again. But yeah, like I was saying though, whether that be them being given the same treatment that guy got in Alabama recently, or whether that be us just adding fucking firing squad to the fucking death penalty as well at this point for the state level and doing them that way, man, which is what should happen to them, honestly, like that way. So anyway, yeah, it's just absolutely sickening, dude, entirely. I'll tell you what, man, if I was Ronan's dad, oh my God, bro, like, dude, you couldn't even hold me back at that point because I would have attacked that dude in the fucking courtroom, honestly, several times. In fact, I would have like literally been like doing one of these kind of things where I'm just like sticking some money in the fucking bailiff's pocket or whatever the case be. And just be like, just let me alone with him for like 2 minutes, basically, dude. Don't come after me or whatever the case be. And they're just like letting you beat the shit out of him or whatever the case be. Or even just ask the judge after he's sentenced, be like, yeah, can I just have like 20 minutes alone in a room with this guy? And I'll deal with the shit myself. And then when they don't, let you have it or whatever the case be, then you just like fucking jump the fucking thing and just like start choking this dude to death is what it is then. So, yeah, I couldn't even imagine, dude. It's like I said, going back to another case here, that Nyla Lattimore kid's murder is what it was there. That's exactly what his dad did to that piece of fucking shit that killed his son. He like fucking jumped his ass in the courtroom and just started fucking pounding on the guy until like 5 or 6 fucking bailiffs, including a couple females, tried to pull him off as it was then. And it took him a while to get that guy off him too, as well. He got a few good shots in on that piece of shit that killed his kid, man. So, like I said, like David Sweeney should have done the same thing to his son's murder at this point. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, we definitely need. And the thing was too, what's interesting to me, by the way, is you had that DA basically being all like, "Oh, you know, we're going to prosecute you for using a firearm in Mahoning County." Okay, so was that gun stolen then or not, or was it legally purchased by this asshole? Is my question. Well, actually, sorry, it wouldn't have been legally purchased by Brandon Crump anyway, because the guy was 17 at the time, so he couldn't even have the gun. Is what it was. So yeah, it would have definitely been a legal gun, or he would have illegally been in possession of the firearm under the age of 18. Is what would have been then in the state of Ohio. So he would have been committing multiple. That's more fucked up, right? Okay, so looking at it from that perspective of things, dude. This dude was 17 at the time, as far as I'm aware. I believe that's what he was, and because he keeps saying 21 now is what it is. And so on that one, you would have had this dude be committing like multiple felonies before he even went into the house that night. Because he was one, under 18 in the state of Ohio with a firearm. That's either a misdemeanor or a felony right there. Number two, he was, I guarantee, illegally carrying said gun in like a waistband or whatever the case be there. So that would probably be a mishandling of firearms charge, whether it be motor vehicle, whatever the case be there. If he was caught with it then. And then, yeah, like he had like multiple other fucking charges he could have been charged with then. Just having the guns, what it is, dude. Before he even killed Ronan that night. So, yeah, it's just... We need to kill killers is what it is, dude, in this country. And especially in the state. And be done with it. And that is exactly why, if I can hit this lottery here, I'm going to use some of that money to start running for office then. And run on the platform of killing killers, basically, in the state of Ohio. That it's time for the state to fucking put the hammer down on these fuckers, what it is, dude. It's time to stop letting child murderers get away with fucking life imprisonment in the state of Ohio. And simply execute these fuckers forever is what it is then, dude. And be done with it. So, yeah. So that was, what I say, about 10 days ago, give or take, when that happened, for the actual trial date, then, if that were the case. So, yeah, given the fact this has already been, 3.5 years, give or take now, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to do the actual trial for the actual verdict then, for what these guys are going to be charged with then. If it's going to be, first-degree murder, or sorry, not be charged, because they've already been charged with all that stuff. If they're going to be sentenced with, whether it be life imprisonment or given the death penalty or whatever the case be here, it'll be interesting to see if that be the case then. So, unfortunately, I can see them all getting like life without parole is what it is then, which is bullshit to me if that be the case. Like, no, they should definitely be given like front of the line death penalties is what it is then, man, for killing this kid and being involved in killing this kid. So, honestly, the thing too, like it kind of goes back to the whole like Saw movies franchise as well too, for that matter. Where you had Jigsaw put these people in traps and stuff like that, and some of them were like, one person against another person kind of thing is what it is there. Imagine if you had like a set of traps like that, right? But in this case, it was basically each one of these dudes had like, it would be like some kind of like a metal rod piece or whatever that has like guns on the end of them kind of thing. And it's like the guns pointing directly at them. And then it would be almost like the carousel trap, kind of similar to that or whatever, from the thing, except in this case, it would basically be like a reverse carousel kind of thing or whatever the case be. and instead of having like you would have like 3 guns on it or whatever the case be, and like 2 of them would definitely have like a live round in them, is what it would be, something like that or whatever. And what it would be essentially is it would be, you know, kind of similar to like the jigsaw trap thing where it's like you'd have to like how I'm trying to think what the one was now. Where the guy like put his hands in there and it was like a drill going through his hands and stuff like that kind of thing or something. I forget which one it was there. Like it'd be almost something like that where it's like you would all be like, you know, strapped into chairs or something like that. And you'd have to like put your like move your hands forward to like or even like place your hands in like a certain way on the thing where it's maybe it's like buttons underneath or something like that, where like essentially your hands would be like this and they could go like that with your hands or whatever, with your fingers and stuff. To where you could like hit buttons or something like that. And it would be a way to like whatever gun doesn't have the live round in it would like sort of spin back towards you then. And it would be guaranteed to like, you know, take the others out or whatever the case be then. But you would still be in like intense pain because there would be like drills coming through your hands or whatever the case be or something like that. Like, I don't know. You know, like I'm saying, man, like so, something like that, honestly, what needs to happen to these fucking guys is what it is then, man. Because if nothing else, like at least 2 get their fucking ends is what it is. And even if the third one survived that shit or whatever, like they would then obviously get, you know, a different death penalty is what it is then, kind of thing. But, yeah, something needs to happen, dude. Like I said, we definitely just need to bring back something. Whether it be firing squad, whether it be public hanging, whatever the case be here. Whether it be eye for an eye laws on the books right now. I'm just getting real fucking sick and tired of pieces of shit, not only in the state of Ohio, but nationwide for that matter, being able to just get off of life imprisonment charges when they should be literally in the fucking ground right now, dude. For the crimes they committed right now in this country. So, and I'm not talking about 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road after a bunch of trial shit happens. I'm talking about like, no, like it's time for like literally on the spot executions in this nation, dude, for real. So it's like, yeah, you can be proven to have been the guy that killed this kid, or you were proven to be like one of the people that were there that night that obviously was pulling triggers and guns and stuff like that, dude. Like, no, you're just done now, bitch. And it's as simple as that, really. So, anyway, but yeah, that being said, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will be back for Buckshot Thursday, this coming Thursday. We'll be doing Honda's chat here tonight for 2A, whatever the hell he wants to call it now. I think it's Tit Tuesday or Titty Tuesday, something like that. Where I will probably bring up this case again during that chat just because of how disgusting it really is, dude. And like I said, the fact that we have over 3 years later now and these pieces of shit still have yet to be actually charged with any kind of, you know, overall sentencing or whatever then is fucking ridiculous and pathetic. I get, you know, trials take a long time or whatever, dude, but again, like, if it's a trial for a child murderer, dude, it needs to be top of the fucking docket at that point then, for real. So, anyway. But, yeah. And then what's even more disgusting is then you got piece of shit Democrats in the state trying to use these fucking kind of murders like this as, oh, this is Ohio's gun violence and all this other stupid bullshit. Like that HB 420, that idiot Rhino Josh Williams is backing now. Which, by the way, he's been following us on Twitter for the last 3 days now and still has yet to actually back us, dude. Or hit like, you know, hey, Ohio Patriot Education Network, whatever it is there. Like, do the @ thing on that one. And, like, explain his shit on that one, dude. Because I even called his ass out on that the other day. I said about, yeah, you know, are you doing this because you want to be the guy making $170,000 off that fucking creative position? And he never did. He never did say back one way or another. I was talking to my uncle about that yesterday. Even I was like, yeah, does that mean he's actually, you know, it's like, yes, that is the case. And he's just not wanting to fucking tell the truth is what it is then, which would be my guess at this point, honestly. So, yeah, just fucking scumbaggy shit is what it is, dude. It just absolutely disgusts me, especially the fact that when Josh had previously voted against legislation in the state of Ohio that actually was decent legislation, just simply because that piece of shit Casey Weinstein was on it. And yet he's going to be on this legislation that Weinstein then joined after the fact and continue to be on it. It's like, doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, again, what did they offer you, man? Like, what was your Judas moment there, Josh? What was your fucking 30 pieces of silver, bro? Was it literally $170,000 a year created job is what it was there? Because that would make sense. And who's to say if you're ever going to get that thing, if that be the case, if it actually does go through is what it is there, which, by the way, I will personally be coming down to the State House to fight against this legislation if it ever does get to fucking committees and stuff like that, dude. Because I will personally testify against that bullshit and be like, this is just garbage in general. This does not need to be made ever, ever. It's literally just a cash grab by every single one of you scumbag Democrats here. And I'll just go off on these fuckers, dude, for real. So, anyway. While wearing the hat, by the way, I'll wear my Ohio hat there too and everything. And if I can get my fat ass down into the that Ohio AR shirt that MKJo got me, or yeah, I think it's crappy now actually. Yeah, I'll definitely use that shirt then if that be the case, dude, to do the testifying in. So anyway, but yeah, that being said though, I'm just disgusted by the whole thing is what it is, dude. Like I said, with Ronan's murder, here's what it is. And then the fact that it's been, going on almost 4 years now is what it is. And he still has that to get justice in the state, dude, is fucking ridiculous entirely. The fact that that kid would be almost 9 now. And, that's the thing, right? My niece here a couple weeks ago had her birthday and she just turned 10 now. And yeah, Ronan was just under her age is what it was, dude. So like I said, that could be my niece back in the day, dude. Wrong place, wrong time. Just pisses me off to no end, dude. It really does. It just very much saddens me. My core is what it is there, man, for real. So, anyway. But yeah, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'll be back for Buckshot Thursday as long as YouTube doesn't try to pop the stream for fair use is what it is of using various mainstream media clips of the trial. There's what it was, which, by the way, again, is not only fair use, it's also freedom of the press, people, which I am press at this point. So, anyway. But yeah, that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all on the next one later.